Welcome everybody to Debate the Facts. We have a very special guest tonight, Mr. Atheist Troll from the Atheist Troll Live channel, and Tang. Joining me, I'm Toxic Taylor. Joining me is Ray Bay and the Battle Kitty.
Wow.
Honored and privileged.
Too good.
Yo, wow.
What's going on? What's going on, Atheist Troll?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Glad to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do over there at the Tang.
Oh, yeah. So we have the Atheist Network Group, formerly known as TART. TART's still around, which would be the Atheist Round Table. But we are now diversifying the show platform. So we have different shows on different days. My show is on Sunday nights where I take phone calls and also try to improve science literacy and like kind of debate some of the like really shitty arguments that you hear on TikTok where people, want to say global flood or, people living to be 900 years old, whatever it might be, poor science, bring on an expert like a geologist or whatever. And, let's talk about how do we know what we know? How does an expert determine what's right or wrong? So that's that. We also have several other shows that come out through the week. And then we have the Atheist Round Table on the weekends where we do debates, where we do deconversion stories, talk to theists, talk to atheists, and just get to know somebody. So that's kind of that. And then, of course, I have started with some merchandise. So I have a t-shirt store now. I'm wearing one of my Happy Atheist shirts, high quality branded merch. And I'm currently on a kick of doing wacky Bible verses into t-shirts. So that's kind of what I'm at right now. So I got my Second King shirt. I got a what was the other one? Second Psalms 147, 137, the one about throwing kids on rocks.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the hit on the rocks.
Yeah, we got one of those. Yeah, so a couple shirts like that with some graphic designs. Bears.
The bears come out the woods and kill the kids.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. So great. I hired an artist on Fiverr to make some like cartoonish images for it. Like a bear pulling children apart to put on the shirt. I think it looks great. It's a nice conversation starter.
That's good shit. Now you're the Atheist Troll. Do you hide under a bridge and wait for little Mormons to walk across and then jump out and?
Not really. I think I think trolling needs to be elevated. When you look at like satirical humor, and I think that's a high level comedy. It takes a high level intelligence to understand good satirical comedy and to see all the things at play. So I love shows like South Park, for example. I think they're very high level satirical comedy. And I have learned things from satirical comedies that go to the extreme, from social issues to other just life lessons. I think I learned through satirical humor. So I'm trying to elevate the troll game. I think that the ad absurdum argument has its use, and when you have these theists that come on TikTok or Instagram or whatever and just have like these most ludicrous freaking arguments, there's no point in trying to reason with them. You just got to kind of meet them at the other spectrum. You know what I mean? So that's where the trolling comes involved.
So you have a call-in show?
Yes. Yeah, we take phone calls. I have a phone that I do the phone calls from, and then we just let anybody and everybody call in. I'm gonna see if I can get this thing to focus on me. There we go. So yeah, we take phone calls from unfiltered, unmoderated phone calls from people on the internet. So you can imagine how that goes. And so I welcome trolling if it's good. And I don't think you can out troll me if you call into the show, but we've had some good arguments, with some randoms on the internet that call in. So
the people definitely call in to try to troll you, but they can't troll hard.
Well, they're just not good. Like, it's like high school trolling, mumbling in there, pushing buttons, yelling curse words, things like that. That's not
Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, all right, cool.
Like Call of Duty Online.
Yeah, it's like, come on. Yeah, I'm a product of Call of Duty. So you're gonna have to work really hard.
Would you say like when they call it a troll, you shift the troll pose?
Correct. Yes, or I am counter trolling for the greater good. That's how I see it, because I also see a lot of people, like, think about flat Earth people. In my opinion, flat Earth people are just trolling. Like the large majority of them are just trolling because they get attention from pretending to, go down this rabbit hole of flat Earth. So why would you try and take someone that's doing it for attention and argue with them at this level? Argue with them at this level. Like, come down to where they're at and then beat them up. That's my determination on that.
So do you think there's a conspiracy that all the flat earthers are really globers?
I think that I don't think that 90% or more actually believe that the earth is flat. I think that they're fronting, and they're doing it because they get attention.
So they want to convince us.
Well, they're usually really
they're
bad
flat earthers.
The people that you're going to see in like a debate about flat earth are the ones that are drinking the Kool-Aid, and maybe they, have some sort of reason for that. There could be something mental in them that they're accepting this. I don't know. But the large majority of the random person that's going to walk up and say, yeah, I believe the earth is flat, they're lying to you. They don't. They're just trolling. That's my opinion on the matter.
Do flat earthers ever call into your show and try to convince you that the jet streams are poisonous and that?
I've had one flat earther call in, and the guy I was with is a super anti flat earth person, and it got his blood boiling, but I'm like, I don't really give a shit. The guy's just an idiot. Anybody that's a pilot can tell you how the earth, like the shape, like we've been navigating oceans on a curve. So, for hundreds of years. So anybody at this point just is, I don't know, intellectually dishonest with themselves about how they're accepting facts, how they're determining truth, and the methods in which they go about that. There's just so many arguments against the flat earth that I don't know how you could accept that, except putting yourself in a bubble and saying, well, everybody else is trying to trick me, like, it's the government, whatever. It just, you have to only look at one side to be able to even consider that a possibility.
I think that they're hiding land because they have.
I mean, there's some weird stuff. I mean, talking about like the glaciers hide dimensional portals to other worlds. Like, it's just like, come on, dude. Like, it's not a Harry Potter novel. We live in the real world. Some people just like magic.
Like a Vatican conspiracy to hide the land because it's all Catholics.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the Vatican probably does have some books that we want to get our hands on, but other than that, I don't know what else they might have. I don't think they have that much power.
What do you think about the? I promised the battle kitty. What do you think about the influx of Muslim apologists?
I would welcome that. Most of them are pretty low hanging fruit. They don't know their own book. And I don't get into theology with Muslims most frequently because you need to prove your book is valid first. Like, why would I debate the individual scripture before you've demonstrated that scripture is worth validation? That's kind of my thought process on that. And most good Islamic debaters are going to have a good understanding of the book, at least, a good understanding of the arguments. So they're ready to refute that because that's what they do. But again, I'm not going to take your scripture as valid scripture until you can demonstrate that the book is true.
So would you say you're an anti-theist or a soft-theist? What kind of atheist are you?
I wouldn't say that I'm an anti-theist yet. I do think religion is poison. Like I am anti-religion, but most religions are largely non-problematic. So I don't really care what other people want to do. They want to, believe in their fantasy or whatever. I wouldn't remove that from them by force. I would just hope that they're very critical in their thinking.
Which religions do you find problematic?
Mainly the Abrahamic ones in my life, as those are the ones that are most in control of my government and my way of life. And there's also, I still think like Hinduism can be problematic, as there's wars that have been fought between Hindus and Muslims over land, over different ways of thinking. So a lot of those, any religion that has that stakes a claim in being infallible and punishes other people for not believing. I think that's the biggest problem.
So like in the mainstream, like putting creations in schools, they're doing that in some states.
Stuff like that, or the 10 Commandment monuments, or putting "In God We Trust" on currency, putting God on my license plate, things like that. Those are the ones that are kind of annoying. But also, you have people that are involved in those.
Hold on. You said putting "In God We Trust" on your license plate is annoying.
Putting God on a license plate. Yeah, I don't think that should be there.
Like a person's personal license plate.
Well, the license, no, like on everyone's license plate.
Or like a state for the state.
So for like example, in my state, you can elect to have "In God We Trust," or not "In God We Trust." What does it say? Yeah, it says "In God We Trust" on the bottom of the license plate. What's up, skids? Hey, Murder Shed's here too. So they put in, you can have "In God We Trust" instead of the county. I don't think that should be on a license plate. I don't think "In God We Trust" should be on currency. I think there should be a complete separation between.
So it's an option.
It's an option, yeah, but I don't think that it should be an option. Like, if you want to put "In God We Trust" on your car, cool, but it shouldn't be on a government license plate issued from the government. That's my issue. So, and it's not, that's not a huge deal, but it's just one of the minor.
So you mean you don't have to get "In God We Trust" on there?
You don't have to. No.
It's not being forced.
No, by any means. But I could not get the opposite of that on my license.
You would be super annoyed if you seen that in public. You'd have been like, "Oh my God!
Well, they have who
"In God We Trust."
I got cut off. I got cut off by somebody this morning. This dude just came fucking flying out of the turn. No stop at the stop sign, just right in front of me. Right on the back of his car. I vote pro-choice or pro-life. Abortion is murder. In God We Trust. And I'm like, cool. I don't like you. I don't know who you are, but the way you drive, firstly, is the biggest problem. And then secondly, I can't. But it's the same as having a 10 Commandments monument on government property. It should not be there. It's an endorsement of the religion, and it further, keeps the lie going, so to speak.
So you judge a person. You don't like a person simply because they are in the belief of preservation of life?
No, not at all. But it's not a consistent position. I think you know that from anybody that's pro-life. They're not pro-life, they're pro-birth in most cases.
Well, when anyone who's pro-choice be considered pro-death?
Not necessarily. That's the choice. I think God in the Abrahamic religions is pro-choice.
Do you believe in a psychic reality?
A what?
Do you believe that reality allows for some kind of psychic thing to exist?
No.
What about perception? We know
what
that
is perception?
We know that perception has a physical effect on the natural universe. But by the double slit experiment, we know that the way something's perceived changes reality by the way it's perceived.
Sure.
And if we're talking about electrons, we're talking about the information aspect of physics, like Wi-Fi, would be on the electromagnetism of the brain. So information correlates with the brain in a way that, can information exist from inside the body to someplace outside the body that can exist, and like that?
I have no idea.
But if we could prove that something psychic was real, would we need to have a new modern interpretation of it? Not like an old thing, like a new thing.
Maybe, I guess. I don't know. This is way outside of my league.
Yeah, if we can prove that anything psychic is real, that leads to coming up with a modern interpretation of it. Would work in a way that
it'd be pretty cool. I don't know how we would prove that. I mean, people have been trying to prove psychic abilities for generations. Yeah. I just consider that magic.
And then it goes into how do we optimize it for health? What is health in that reality? And health in that reality would be the religion. How to make things the most healthy would be what the new interpretation would be.
That just sounds like a lot of extra words.
No, I'm saying with that reality comes interpretation of how we affect each other.
Sure, yeah, we do.
Yeah. And the way perception, the way I perceive you, you feel different when you know this person perceives me this way, and this person perceives me that way, like does that happen? Like, do you feel?
But the knowledge, but you're saying the knowledge of the perception. I mean, you could be wrong. That person could be perceiving you a different way, but you internally, knowledge-wise, are thinking that they're perceiving you in a positive light. So their actual perception doesn't have any effect on your internal brain.
And do you think that, like, if we could say that it could happen without your knowledge, like in a public setting, like you could suddenly feel become a certain way because you're perceived that way. You're perceived, so you become, you're a slave to perception. Like you can, like racism, because I know, like when someone looks at a black man, like a scary black man, that they become more like the you know, when someone's looking at you any kind of way, like in a similar way, like imagine someone looking at you like you're not, like you're. Look, when a black person looks at you like you're not being fair, how does it make you feel when a black person looks at you like you're not playing fair?
That's a mental alchemy.
But you ever feel that thing from like a black man that you're not playing fair? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm very aware of my initial perceptions of people. Stop leaning into the camera.
And a lot
not
of times,
playing fair.
It can change your behavior.
Yes.
Your behavior changes, whether inside or outside of you. Your behavior changes based on how you're perceived.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people do react to the environment in which the perception is. I think you can see that with the current like racial culture in America.
Yeah.
And other places, but yeah, I'm very aware of the way that I perceive other people, so that way I don't react that way. But I do want to get back to the point about abortion. So my personal stance is I am pro-choice and anti-abortion.
Okay, I can dig that.
So I am for someone else having the choice to do such, but I would I would do everything I could in my power to make it to where that never got to that point. So I would increase education. I would make contraceptives free for everybody. I would make family planning free for everyone. I would make all those options available so that a woman has the choice to make on her own and she has better options, because right now those options are not very good. So we could reduce the number of abortions simply by providing better health care. That's it. Better education, better health care, you reduce abortions. But the pro-life movement is more of an abstinence market, and we know how that works. It don't work.
So what options are women lacking right now?
I think
men and women, I should say.
Sure. Contraceptives should be free. They shouldn't have to pay for those. They should be included. So, for example, in Denver, the city of Denver, if you're over a certain age, I think it's like 16. Don't quote me on that. I don't know exactly. You can get contraceptives free without parental consent. So the number of teen pregnancies has drastically reduced just by that one thing. Secondly, you have places like Planned Parenthood and other places that provide services for women for family planning, not just abortions, but other things. And there's this stigma that if you go to Planned Parenthood that you're getting an abortion, which isn't always the case. So this is a very difficult situation for the woman that has to make that decision. So we should give her the support she needs to make an active decision. B, if these people are pro-life, they should make it super, super easy for a woman to have a child. You know how expensive it is to have a child? They should be out there picketing for universal health care. They should be out there picketing for, all of these things to be paid for, and all children being paid for all this. But that's not what they're out there saying. They're saying you must have this child. You must not get an abortion. So that's why I say that they're pro-birth. They're not pro-life. They don't give a shit about the child after it's born. Glad to see Oz, and I like to see. So Nate's in fuck Nate. First off, Nate's show sucks, and it should be canceled. Secondly, Murder Shed Steve, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Oz, thanks for being here. I saw Skids in here earlier. Appreciate that too.
He's deep in the game. There he is.
Yeah, there he is. Wonderful profile picture. I appreciate it.
So your whole Tang gang is here.
Yeah, we usually like to try
Tang ganged.
Yeah, we usually like to support each other with their shows. And we also have Al Biddy's new to the platform too. She's really good. She knows a bit of Hebrew. She can talk to us about some Old Testament stuff with some great, actually New Testament too, but she's got some great Bible knowledge. So I'm glad to have her on the team too.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I saw up here. Do you believe that the Bible prescribes abortions?
There is a inscription. There is in some places. It's what they're talking about is the verse about bitter water, and it's a test for infidelity. But if you look, I mean, if we're just talking about the Bible, the children did not have worth before birth. There's specific verses in there about what should be done if a pregnant woman miscarries. There's specific verses in there about handles certain situations like that. So it's clear that the Abrahamic God, at least, did not value children before birth. Secondly, there are prescribed instructions on how to test for infertility, and that includes the consuming of bitter water, which was a poison. And if the baby miscarried, then it was an infertile baby, or not infertile, but am I using the right word? Infertility?
I agree with you. The God of the Bible supports abortion up to like the stage of like 15 years old. No, 18 years old. It supports abortion for like the entire childhood development. It does. Like, so if your kid's getting on your nerves at like 13, you can like abort him. The Bible supports
that. Numbers 5, 11
that is new. I never knew that.
And Numbers 5, a test for an unfaithful wife. So that's where that's at. The priest shall bring her and stand before the Lord, and he shall take some holy water in a clay jar and put some dust from the tabernacle floor unto the water. After the priest has had the woman stand before the Lord, he shall loosen her hair and place her hands that remain your offering, and gain the offering for jealousy, while he holds himself the bitter water that brings a curse. Then the priest shall put the woman under oath and say to her, if no man has had sexual relations with you, and you have not gone astray and become impure while married to your husband, may this bitter water that brings a curse not harm you. But if you have gone astray while married to your husband and have been impure, having sexual relations with another man and your husband, your priest is to put the woman under this curse. So that's what they did, allegedly.
So basically,
performed an abortion.
Oh, okay. So yeah, but these are sanctioned abortions.
Allegedly. Because it wasn't, it was out of the, she cheated she was an unfaithful wife, allegedly. Although
so we know abortions were allowed because women were being unfaithful to their husbands. This wasn't like, women just having casual sex.
Correct.
And whatnot.
Well, I mean, I guess it's a casual sex thing outside of the bonds of marriage, in which the baby was then the suffered parties in this, in the case of when you value life.
But it doesn't say anything like premarital sex.
No, I don't think that this is a premarital sex thing. I think this is a unfaithful wife, so she would have to be married in the first place. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there are other rules for women who got married or got pregnant outside of the bonds of marriage. I'm not fluent on those at the moment, but I'm sure they're out there.
I can dig that. When men strive, this is from Exodus 21, 22 to 25. When men strive together and hit a pregnant woman so that her children come out, but there is no harm, the one who hit her shall surely be fined, as the woman's husband shall impose on him, and he shall pay as the judge determines. But if there is harm, then you shall pay life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. So this is essentially saying that the Bible believes that within a woman, there is life going down. So the people who are pro-life have a legitimate reason to stand to say that the Bible is not condoning abortion.
Well, there are plenty of places where the God of the Bible kills children. That's clear.
Yeah, children that are already born.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's not abortion.
He's got no problem killing children. Put it that way.
He's got no problem killing men and women either. Full-grown adults. He's got no problem with animals being killed in his name either.
Yeah, a full-grown adult though could deserve it. Let's say. Why should a child be? Why should an infant be murdered? Like, what's the crime that an infant could commit that requires murder?
You're gonna have to ask God about that.
Yeah, I don't think that there is.
No, I mean, I'm just saying. You said that the Bible was condoning abortion and whatnot. You know, I just don't see where it was condoning it.
I mean, there's plenty of
except
other
in matters of harm.
Yeah, do you believe the Bible prescribes forced abortions, like with the prophecy?
Well, I mean, I guess that would be a forced abortion in the case the woman is forced to drink this bitter water.
Well, there's the prophecy he gave Hosea that the Lord would use the Assyrians as an iron rod, and he would sweep through Israel and dash women to the ground and cut women with child open to the stomach.
Yeah, that one too.
There's a lot of those, actually. There's that. There's the one that Hosea. There's Isaiah. There's the one that in First Kings, Elisha went to the Assyrians and said, I know these, right? He confirms that prophecy. So would that be God's like okay with abortion as long as it's his judgment?
I mean, I think that there's a subjective morality there where God can do what he wants when it comes to, you know, murdering children or whatever. But you're held to a different moral standard.
I think a priest should be present at every abortion that happens, and we should have like a little questionnaire. Are you married? Did you cheat on your husband? Did your husband cheat on you? You know, shit like that. That would be amazing.
I wouldn't do that. I mean, again, like let's say you're the Christian God of the Bible, right? And a woman wants to get an abortion. What do you do as the Christian God?
Like the woman.
Yeah, she goes to an abortion clinic. She's about to get an abortion. You're God. What do you do?
What is the reason? Is she married?
No, she's not married. She was, out. Whatever reason you want to use. What are you going to do as the Christian God?
Plug up her vagina hole or some shit.
Usually he just gets mad.
That's not what happens. What do you know what the Christian God does?
She's definitely not going to have no babies anymore. Make her infertile.
Well, yeah,
I'd make her infertile.
Well, that's you. I'm talking about the Christian God. You know what the Christian God does? Nothing. He allows the choice.
He just gets mad.
He allows the woman to have that choice and have free will. So if the God of the Bible gives her free will, why would you try and remove that?
Oh, if I was the God of the Bible, I would definitely be all right. Oh, you don't want to have this baby? Well, you ain't gonna have no babies in the future either. But that's a good thing I'm not God.
But that's why I say the Christian God is pro-choice. So any Christian that wants to tell me that, you know, they have some sort of moral standing on this matter, it's not the case. If your God gives people free choice, would you
in the Bible, it clearly states that you have to have a priest present. The priest has got to do the abortion, not a doctor, not a nurse.
They didn't have doctors at that time, I don't think.
And you got to drink the special bitter water.
Yeah. Which is just water with dirt in it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very specific.
Yeah, with the tabernacle floor dirt.
God killed a man once for performing coitus interruptus. Do you think it's a we should be able to perform coitus interruptus without?
You talking about the guy that jizzed on the floor?
Yeah, that's Onan. Yeah, that's coitus interruptus.
Okay, yeah. Did he get killed with a bear?
No, God just killed him.
No, lion. It was a lion. No, he was attacked by a lion.
Onan?
Yeah, that's what happened. The one that would not impregnate his dead brother's wife. So he jizzed on the ground. And he got killed by a lion. It's kind of fucked up.
That's frightening.
Thanks, Oz. I appreciate that.
Well, his brother got killed for just because he was wicked, and there's no mention of that.
I mean, like, it's just like it seems to me sometimes in the Bible, the Christian God's like a slave to his own rules that he can't change or something. I don't know. It's just weird, the choices that are made.
So you think that we should be able to do coitus interruptus without fear of chastisement?
I would hope that we wouldn't get attacked by a lion. I mean, I think people do it all the time without being attacked by lions. So
I don't go to zoos for that particular reason. I know God's just going to let that lion escape from the cage and just be like, "Oh, you've been jerking off."
I don't think there's any lions. I don't know what's in the zoo in my city. I don't know if there's a lion. But yeah, I wouldn't want to get close to. Big cats, man, they're unpredictable.
Do you think there'd be less abortions if we were allowed to practice coitus interruptus without fear of chastisement?
I don't think that we have an increased, I don't know. I don't have any data to support the amount of masturbation of a country to the number of abortions. So I'm sure that information is out there for us to figure out, but
I have no eyes, so I can't tell.
Good going, Oz. So you can't tell if we were given the option of coitus interruptus, it wouldn't lead to less pregnancy.
I don't think people are getting pregnant because they're afraid of jerking off. I think they're getting pregnant because they're having sex and they're not being educated properly on how to take steps to not have children unplanned.
Right.
And they're not given access to the abilities to prevent pregnancies that are unplanned. They're given the abstinence talk by their 6th grade science teacher who probably doesn't know jack shit about having sex. And that's the education that's given to most kids.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah, I mean,
talk about that. I had another here and there that's very important. It goes back to our topic. Like I would say, the Bible supports this a lot. We're not supposed to think about anything negative. The Bible says, don't worry. That means don't think about anything negative. Like you think about something negative, you're not obeying the Bible. You can handle it, but don't think about negative things. You got to think, handle it. You have to be so much sure that you only handle things or don't think about anything negative. So if you can only handle everything that you think is negative, but you just handle it now or do something now, but you don't think about it. You never think about negative things. Like I say, the Bible says that, but it says have nothing to do with it. When you think about things, you're having a lot to do with it. Like you're involved in thinking about it. So never think about negative things. The Bible says very important. We're not supposed to think about negative things. We handle things, but we don't think about it when we're not doing anything. As always do. He was like right on the thing.
There was an overload. That was an overload.
A lot. That's a lot.
Here and there.
That was there, Matthew.
That their face is the most effective form of birth control.
With Matthew's face?
No, somebody else's face. Just what they said. Said my face is a effective form of birth control. Way to go, Oz. What are they talking about?
Coitus interruptus.
Oh, well, yeah.
Do you think coitus interruptus can is not a good form of contraceptive?
No, I don't think it's a good form of contraceptive.
What?
How is that a good form of contraceptive?
Because you stop and they know when to pull out. They're like United Airlines.
Oh, yeah. Well, you fuck that up, you got a problem.
So people accidentally don't pull out in time.
It happens. And then, I mean, you could just take birth control, wear a condom. I mean, we could have male birth control by now, get a vasectomy. There are a lot of options. I would pay for anybody's vasectomy. I'd make that freaking like number one. Like, you want to get a vasectomy? I'll pay you to get a vasectomy.
How much?
$1,200.
$1,200 to get a vasectomy?
Yeah, and you get some ice cream afterwards.
Does it hurt?
I don't know. I've never had one. I'm sure it doesn't feel great, but most people are yeah. I
don't need it anymore. So $1,200.
Well, I mean, I'm not physically going to give you $1,200. I'm just saying I wish that's how it worked.
So
if I was in charge of the government, I would make a government program to allow people that don't want to have kids to vasectomies.
Okay,
especially if they're in a particular financial situation where they're not capable of taking care of a child. I think
they can just use condoms, right?
It could, yeah. Condoms are pretty successful.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
after morning pill.
People need to know, and this is not something that you get taught.
No.
Condoms come in different shapes and sizes. Dicks are in different shapes and sizes. Buy the proper condom for your dick. If you're not satisfied with the fitment, it's not a condom fault. It's you're buying the wrong ones.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
It's relevant right now.
No battle kitty on condoms. That's too much. Do you think that people? They try to go buy the magnums when they know damn well they don't fit a mag? They're just trying to impress.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, maybe they're just trying to impress, but it's not just a size issue. There's also shape issues. So there actually is a website out there where you take like 5 or 6 different measurements, and they then prescribe like the best shape for you for comfort.
Like
Yeah,
women say, don't think about it. Don't think about it. The women say, don't think about it.
Yeah, how many women have you talked to in your life, Shadow Kitty? There's some backstage.
You never know, man. He might be living it up.
Yeah, Matt is always he always has like those little gems, those here and there's.
Yeah, we give him the here and there's.
So, yeah. Oh, wait, all right. We were talking about fucking condoms.
Yeah.
And I forgot my thought. I was thinking about some shit.
He thinks that the government should give out condoms.
Then Matt came in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, right.
Absolutely.
They should give these things out for free.
All contraceptives should be free.
But this stuff costs money to make. You know that, right?
You know what else costs money to make? Children.
No, that doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, they cost money after they're here, but you don't have to pay to have kids.
Who's paying for the kids?
You don't have to pay to have children.
Who's paying for the kids?
It's a choice, right?
If someone's not prepared,
it's a free choice.
If somebody's not prepared to have children financially,
isn't that how free will works?
Yeah. No. Well, I'm not a believer in free will.
Oh, see, I'm not talking about children after the fucking fact that they're here. I'm talking about like it's free to have kids. You're free to have children.
It's not free for the healthcare needed for having children for many people. But the point is that if you're not ready to have a child, more than likely, if you're not prepared to have a child, then you're not financially capable of having a child, and you're more than likely going to need government assistance at some point in the future. Me paying for a 50-cent condom is going to save a lot of tax dollars later on. So I'm paying up front to prevent. And if people are not having kids when they're teenagers because they're not ready, maybe they'll be able to pursue their dreams of going to college, getting a better degree, being a better, more productive piece of society. And that's what I really don't agree with, that some 16-year-old girl makes a mistake and now she's told she has to have this child because she was given a poor education on how to handle that situation. And the other guy was given a poor education on the situation. So that person's life is now ruined effectively.
Do you care about emotional and psychological consequences of sex?
Sure.
How much do you think condoms
Yes,
cost?
I'm a determinist. In bulk or
just in general?
I mean, I think that a government could be able to order a large enough supply that you could get them down to less than 50 cents a condom.
I mean, these things are roughly like $5 to $12, depending on what you're getting, right?
Yeah, that's retail.
You think, right. And so you think person who doesn't want to have children can't afford that?
I think they don't have easy access to it.
How would they not have easy access to it? They're in all the stores.
Look at the numbers. In cities that provide contraceptives for free, without parental consent, their teen pregnancy rates are lowest in the country. So obviously there's a correlation between access to contraceptives and reduction in teenage births.
I didn't know about all that. I mean, I've gone to Rite Aid, CVS.
This is you. That's anecdotal.
It's not anecdotal. It's just fact, man. Condoms are everywhere. You can go into Fry's, ShopRite, Acme, whatever supermarkets are near you. They're all over the place.
I prefer
them all for free. If they
Walmart.
For free.
Yeah, I prefer them free from wherever. But
want them free.
I used Walmart for the most part because of self-checkout.
I tell you what, if folks don't want to have babies, then I guess they shouldn't buy a pair of Jordans.
Well, yeah, but they're going to be having kids. They're doing it anyway, man. They're going to have the kids.
Folks don't have money because they spend their money on frivolous things.
Well, they're still going to have kids. You're not stopping them from having kids.
So what is making condoms free going to change?
I'm telling you, the data shows that and it's not just condoms, it's also women contraceptives. Making access to those better decreases teen pregnancies. And I think that we would all agree that decreasing unwanted teen pregnancies is a good thing.
I want to get on a better angle at this. In a secular way, can you explain some emotional or psychological consequences to having sex.
You have a baby.
Yeah, that should be an emotional. I mean, you can have regrets.
They shit and they cry all night.
What does the mind do after
fuck your house up?
Get like herpes or some shit like that.
Matt, go ask your mom that.
Talking purely emotional, psychological. Like what does psychology do after you have sex? If you have regrettable sex, what does psychology do? And if you have loving sex but you're not with them, what does psychology do? I don't know.
Wait, are we talking? If you have run that by me one more time.
Well, I'm looking for emotional and psychological questions, emotional psychological consequences to having. I'm trying to prove why I'm better than everyone else. I'm trying to prove why I'm better than other people. Can you talk about emotional and psychological consequences to having sex?
Well, what do you mean by how do you define consequence? What are we talking about?
To your well-being, to like your subjective experience of reality, like what's all in here, what goes to your mind and through your heart, like of feelings and thoughts, like how your mind works. That's consequence. Talking about positive and negative. I'm positive is not like, yeah, I'm gonna get some more booty. It's easy to get the booty. That's not. I'm saying that's not a positive. It's not positive to say just to get it. I'm talking about fulfillment. Like it is positive, the fulfillment, or like any kind of like. If you don't want to think about it, like you don't want to think about it. You're gonna push it back. You're not gonna think about it. Like, yeah. And you don't want to think about it, or
I love it. Mm-hmm.
I know. Yeah.
I don't
know what the fuck you said. Good job. Go backstage.
Like I said, he asks statements.
Yeah, I don't. Yes. There are consequences to everything, I guess, but I don't know how he's defining consequence.
He's defining it in more of like a mental sense.
What if you have
how would you affect it mentally?
If you love or not, unloving. What the fuck is this?
I'll tell you what, the government does not care if you're on that birth certificate. You're paying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Terrible, sad. One of the saddest hard facts. I be hearing about cases where like fathers are like on the birth certificate and shit, and then like the mother's making off like a fat rat, and they got to pay this fucking child support. These dudes be crying.
You don't think the women deserve it?
Should have thought about that before they had a child.
Who, the fathers that aren't the fathers of the children?
I mean, if you're not the father, I don't know how you got on the birth certificate. You need to go ahead and go on Maury or something.
Yeah. I'll take her on Maury. I'd be like, but they still have to pay because of state laws, the way the state laws are written.
You just put anybody's name on a birth certificate now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
my name could be on a few birth certificates.
Yeah, I'll be taking that one to court.
I ain't taking nobody to court. I'll be like, yeah, that's my child. I'm going to raise him up to be just like me. Spiteful and mean.
So condoms should be free.
I would make all contraceptives free, not just condoms. But yes, if I was in charge of whatever governing body makes that decision, that would be something I would do because the data shows that it reduces teen pregnancies.
So, all right. Should socks and underwear be free? Because, it would reduce skid marks in pants and smelly feet.
I mean, what's the negative result of someone having skid marks in their pants on the government system?
I mean, their pants will be smelling like shit 24/7.
Yeah, that's on them, man. That doesn't affect me. But if someone else has a child and they go on welfare, that sure as hell affects me.
But like you just said, that's on them. So we're now
that's my tax dollars used.
Yeah, and that would be my tax dollars paying for condoms and shit that I'm not even fucking using. I don't have to use condoms. You want to know why? Because I don't have unprotected fucking sex. I don't even have sex at all. I am practicing abstinence. So why can't people just practice abstinence?
Because it doesn't work.
Works for me.
Well, it works for you. That's anecdotal.
Can we trade the condoms for the abortion? Like,
how do you know abortions? How do you even know abstinence doesn't work?
So can we
because of the data. You can look at data of counties that teach abstinence only sex ed and look at their teen pregnancy numbers, and then you can.
I'm not saying like abstinence only. I'm just saying, how do you know it doesn't work? Period.
Data. We have data that shows that abstinence only doesn't work. What you have is a bunch of uneducated kids. They're going to be fucking anyway, but now they're just uneducated at it. So now they're having kids because they don't know how that works. And now you have a teen pregnancy.
But now you want people to pay extra taxes for some fucking condoms.
No, not extra.
But no extra taxes for no socks and underwear. I want free socks and underwear. I would love to have free socks and
I'll send you some socks. I got some on my website. You pick some out. You pay for them. Shoot me your PayPal. I'll refund you.
Oh, I don't want to pay for them. I want them to be free.
I'm going to make them free. You pay up front. I'll refund you for the socks.
Okay, cool. And I'm going to, what do they call that? Coitus interruptus.
That's what I'll put that on some socks, and you can buy those, and they'll just be Coitus interruptus socks. And you'll know what
they're Coitus interruptus into the socks.
Right. I'll make sure they're out of the softest material possible.
So we can, in the middle ground, can we trade abortion and get condoms via coitus interruptus socks and kill all three birds with one stone?
We'll just
I can agree with that.
Make socks that can also be operated as condoms. And to answer your question, I am not a hard anything determinist or whatnot. I think the closest to my current thought process that can be defined is going to be determinism. I don't understand fully hard incompatibilism yet. So that is why I don't hold to hard incompatibilism, because I don't fully understand it.
What is hard incompatibilism?
You apology to Trent, because you're going to cost us a subscriber with your last comment.
What?
What do you have against skid marks?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, skids. I just want to first and foremost send out this heartfelt non-apology. Skid marks are the fucking worst thing on the planet. All right, I'm just going to be real. I've had a few of them in my childhood, and I'm traumatized.
Justin, so you know, I only define myself as a determinist right now because that's the closest I can get. This is almost a day-to-day internal discussion or internal debate in my head. So it's not like I've gotten a conclusion to that yet, and I don't know if I ever will. Free will is one of those things that I just don't. It's weird saying that, but I don't think that we have free will. I don't think that that's an option for us.
Do you believe you have a free will with your holy book collection?
I mean, I do have a book collection, but I would never rip a book or pages out of a book. That would just be very insensitive to people that are watching the stream. It would be very mean for me to rip pages out of a book. I would never do that.
That sounds like ASMR right there. Do that again.
I wouldn't take a book by any means and rip a page out of it. That would not be something that would be very good for the community to see. And hold on, let me turn my mic on. Oh, you can just smell the homophobia there.
Oh man,
what is it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's one book, well ripped. Well
read and then ripped. But really the thing, and so let's clarify book ripping. I had no intentions of ripping any books until somebody came along and said, hey, because I had a Quran, which I have a Quran here, and I set the Quran down on a table, you know, and they're like, hey, you better treat that book with some respect. And I said, fuck you. This is my book. I'll do what I want to it. And then they were like, well, you better not rip a page. I was told that if I rip a page of this book, I will literally become a rat. They said that my hands would catch fire, that my house would burn down, that I'd get in a car accident. They told me that I would turn into an animal, that I would catch on fire instantly. So I had to put those claims to the test. Let's test it. Let's see am I going to turn to a rat instantly if I rip this book? No, didn't happen. Nothing has happened. Either God's on some sort of late schedule and he hasn't realized it yet that I've been ripping his book, or this doesn't have magical powers. It doesn't. It's a book. It's ink on paper. It's nothing more. And Christians don't seem to have that big of a problem with the Bible. I can rip the Bible all day. That doesn't seem to upset them because they know, at least most Christians don't think that the Bible is itself special. It's the words and reading and interpretation and the philosophy of the Bible that has meaning to them, not the book itself. But I think that, especially in Islamic faiths, there's a big emphasis on rules.
Yeah, they're an institution filled with a whole bunch of Karens and shit.
Yeah, it's like, no, you have to pronounce it this way. Mm-hmm. No, that's not an authentic hadith. No.
Person is not what you think it means. It means this. Yeah, they change definitions up on shit. Very superstitious lot.
Yeah, those hadiths.
I haven't made the, I'm not saying that. I do think that everything is kind of determined by previous events. Again, this is something that is still a discussion that I have not settled yet. At least not to my own satisfaction to fully claim one or the other. But I have been described as a determinist by other people, so that is the term that I use currently.
So would you say that you're determined to rip the book when you rip it? And
by previous events? For example, that person saying don't rip the book determined me to rip the book. Now, had they not said that, or some other actions had happened, the result would have been different. And that person saying you shouldn't rip that book is based on previous events in that person's life. And those previous events are based on other previous events, and so on and so forth. So that's why I would say determinism. However, my definition may be being played with. I may have an incorrect definition, and there's a lot of stuff going on there from a philosophical standpoint that I haven't got to yet. It is on my to-do list for sure. It's just I haven't reached. It's just something that I constantly debate in my mind. So I'm not there yet. It takes time.
So if we ask you, please don't rip the book, does that determine you not to rip the book?
It could. I mean, it could. Whatever the action is, it's as a result of what you said. My response to you is a result of what you just said. So we are just bags. We are bags of meat floating on a rock through space.
With no captain.
I am not a bag. I am a perfect form.
Oh, well, I have not reached my final form.
Shoot. I wish I
was.
Is
it like Frieza? Are you like Frieza Form 3? Or you like the Power Rangers, the Megazord in Form 3?
I would say more Power Rangers, honestly.
Power Rangers?
I think I liked Power Rangers more than Dragon Ball. Nothing wrong with Dragon
Power Rangers was the shit.
But this is the thing. You knew if you watched a Power Rangers episode, it was going to get to the end. They were going to form up and they were going to beat some shit up. I watched the same fucking episode of Dragon Ball Z 6 times in a row. Like, when the fuck is he getting out of the little bubble thing to come kick Frieza's ass? I mean, how many times was that episode like postponed? Like, it was the biggest.
The next Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Like, come on, dude. Give me something. It was really like 30 minutes of him doing this and Goku in a bubble. Like, what? You
don't think it's an accolade for Frieza to have to be the first transsexual cartoon character?
I never thought about that. I thought he was like asexual, or she, or what do we call it?
That's what we have to we have to go with what they. I had a transsexual on the show the other day. She says we have to go by what they want to be, and that's Frieza's. It's just Frieza.
What was the pronoun that Frieza preferred? What was Frieza's preferred pronoun?
I thought Frieza was a he.
I think he hated everybody, so it's hard to tell what he liked and what he didn't like. But
yeah, I don't know. But that's a good question. I'm just gonna say they. Say they. What they wanted. What did Frieza want? Or use the name. I can't tell you how many trainings I've had at work on pronoun usage. So
Frieza was a dude.
Are you sure about
Definitely
that?
used he pronouns. Yeah.
I never saw. I mean, they're naked the whole time, but
Well, Frieza. Yeah.
Yeah. Frieza doesn't have a
Hey.
vagina. Doesn't have any female characteristics except for the voice and the eyes and the lips, the little tiny ass face. But other than that, I mean, Frieza was definitely a dude.
I don't think Frieza was. I think Frieza was. I don't think we should say that
Nope.
Frieza was a dude because
you're gonna upset somebody.
They haven't identified themselves.
I have never heard anyone, Taylor. I've never heard of anyone referring to Frieza as like a transgender or anything like that. Now, granted, voice does sound kind of effeminate, but I mean, it's also a deep voice. This is definitely Frieza's definitely a fucking dude, and I'm willing to debate you to hell and back over this, and I will win.
Okay, let's see.
The comments. It
says non-binary.
Frieza's non-binary.
Yeah.
I told you.
But the gender, where is that found at?
It's on a very, very good source called Wikipedia.
I told you.
All right, I'm on the fandom source called Dragon Ball Wiki, and it says Frieza's gender is a male.
Well, apparently this is up for debate.
Yeah, that's going to be.
You said Wikipedia?
Yes,
that's going to be hate speech.
Oh, you went right to Wikipedia. Let's see. Yes. Someone wrote that in there. You know, you can edit Wikipedia real easily. Like,
go ahead and fix it then.
Come in there and edit. I'm definitely gonna fix that. How dare they? Who do they think they are? Wikipedia. This nigga is a goddamn non-binary. I'm fucking done. I'm fucking triggered right now.
I told you. I knew this when I was a little kid watching Dragon Ball Z.
Hey, Taylor, you didn't know diddly donk. All right, let me see. What does it say? Gender, non-binary. Who wrote that?
Somebody who's observant. A true Dragon Ball Z fan knows every detail of every character.
Frieza's even.
What Battle Kitty?
Frieza's even voiced by a man. How are they non-binary if they're voiced by a man?
It's a non-binary. It's not gender.
We
live in 2021.
You have plenty of shows. Like, think about you watch Bob's Burgers. Linda is voiced by a man.
Yeah, I know.
So Linda's still a woman. Bart Simpson.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Gender is a social issue. That means if you have a brain of a woman, you want to look like a man because that's what a woman wants. If you have the brain of a man, you want to look like a woman.
Even in this Wikipedia article, they're referring to Frieza as a he. Yeah, Frieza's a whole fucking dude.
If you have a brain of a man, you want to look like a woman. If you have a brain of a woman, you want to look like a man. If your brain is like a man, you want to look like a woman. But if your brain is like a woman, you want to look like a man.
What?
Hate speech.
Matthew?
Mark Luke John.
He wanted to say. No.
You know what? I like Matthew 5:22.
I wonder if I can edit this.
Yeah, we can edit the hate speech. Matthew. Edit out the hate speech.
I'm gonna edit the gender of Frieza on Wikipedia.
You can.
Well, I'm sure it's gonna get. Something's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be vandalism. They're gonna take it down.
They're gonna think that, you're gonna get canceled.
I'm gonna get canceled and shit. I'm gonna go into work tomorrow. The HR lady's gonna come downstairs.
Ray, come here. Let me talk to you for a second. I just looked on Wikipedia. I heard that you changed Frieza's gender. You're fired. Get the fuck out of here. I don't care if you fucking like Donald Trump or not. Just go. You never in your life change his fucking gender ever again.
But you just called him a he.
You have an HR person in your vicinity?
No. But I'm pretty sure if the HR lady does, she's not even the HR lady anymore. She's the main boss now. She's the head honcho at the job. But if she come down, she's going to chew me the fuck out.
Probably.
She probably won't fire me, though. Too good of a worker. She'll just tell me to watch what I say on the internet and all of the other good shit.
That just got the cancel reference just reminded me. You have a shirt that says cancel religion. Do you think that religion is hate speech?
Not all religion. And let me clarify. Here's how I want to cancel religion. through epistemology, through critical thinking, through asking questions. That's how I would like to cancel religion. I am not advocating for the removal legally of people's right to be religious. That is absolutely not the thing. But I would like to have a discussion with you about your religion and maybe encourage you to think about it to where then you realize that your religion is bullshit and then choose to leave your religion willingly. So that would be how I would change the course. We don't want to spread cancel religion the same way religion spread its message by killing people and torturing people that rejected it.
But like in the modern zeitgeist, the cancel culture.
Yes, I am an advocate for cancel culture. I think it's a great thing.
But like in that's the kind of cancel we should do to religion.
I think so. Yeah, we should question it. We should be able to have shows like this where we question religion and, have open discussions with believers in a respectful fashion, and, make some determinations on whether or not the stuff is true or not. That's what I think we should do. What I don't want is where people of a certain faith say, well, you can't question this, or you can't do that, or you can't say that about my book, or you can't do that to my book, or whatever it might be. Those are the things that I want to avoid. So the cancel culture thing, like absolutely 100%. If the Bible came out as an ABC TV show, that shit would be canceled, dude. That kid's you wouldn't be able to air that stuff. But yet you're teaching this stuff to your 6-year-old? Like, come on.
Or Netflix.
Netflix would be maybe they would let it fly.
We could get away with Netflix or HBO, Showtime.
Netflix can kind of do what they want right now, apparently. So
yeah,
but they piss off people all the time, which is, I guess, okay. I don't know.
Yeah, the Bible. There's a lot of people that want it to be this good news. Good news. It's like good news, right? Unicorn farts and right, namaste. But you're right. You read the Bible, it doesn't sound like good news.
No, it doesn't. But again, I don't think, and I'm shooting from the hip on this statistic. 80%, I would say, Christians have not read the Bible themselves. They own one. They know a few verses that they write in script on their wall about faith. And, maybe they have a profile picture with a Bible quote in it. That's about it. They don't actually read the Bible. If you read, they're like the iPhone people that click agree on the iTunes terms and conditions without reading them. You didn't read the terms and conditions of your damn book. Like, at least read the first half. I don't know. I saw a video the other day where it was like some girl and she's like, are you having trouble reading your Bible? Here's how you need to read it. And I'm like, look, this is how you read it. You open the first page and you read it. Then you read the second page and so on and so forth. It's a book. Like, read the book. I mean, if this is the most important thing in your life, which it should be, if the religion is true and you believe that your destiny is required, by the doctrine of said book, you might want to read it. At least once through, thumb through it or something. I don't know.
So what do you think? Do you think those Christians are more, who do you think is more dangerous? Like the namaste, happy Jesus people, or the people that do read the Bible and take it literally?
The people that read the Bible and take it literally are probably, those are your evangelicals. Oh, hey, Britt. Britt's fantastic, by the way, everybody. And yes, it is a fantastic shirt. The people that read it, the ones that are out there preaching 1 Timothy 2, that are telling people that gays and homosexuals deserve death because that's what it says in the Bible. Those are the ones that are problems. The ones that walk to you on the street wearing a cross and say, God bless you. No, those are typically not the ones that are a problem. But they all vote. And, they get these politicians in there too that claim to be Christian, and they vote very pointed towards that. The church and the government are very intertwined, and I think religion needs that. Religion needs the government in order to make itself look legitimate. Without the government influence, the religion doesn't stand on its own. Without the tax credits, it doesn't stand on its own.
I think the church should start paying the tax.
Yeah, they should be the same as a regular 501c nonprofit. And a lot of people don't know that. Churches do not file taxes. It's not that they don't pay taxes. they don't file taxes. That's a next step. So if you decide to start a nonprofit, let's say, and you're going to clothe the homeless, whatever it may be, you still file taxes. You're a 501c nonprofit. You're still going to file taxes. And if you're intaking more money than what you're using, and there's balances to this, then you got to pay taxes because you're actually making money on this if you're a nonprofit. Churches don't have to do that. Who the fuck knows how much money they're making? That's why you have these millionaire fucking mega church people out in Texas scamming the system because they're out there buying boats and planes with money that was donated to them. It's ridiculous. I want to see them books. You want to clean money, get a church. There's an easy way to clean some money. You don't have to show any books. Money comes in, money goes out. It's legit. Church pays for something. It's legit. So go ahead. Every criminal, get a church. You can scam the system. And then maybe they'll change the laws. But right. I mean, look at Scientology. What the fuck? They got like billions of dollars for what?
Yeah, I feel like if they want to, have a say in abortion, fucking prayer back in the schools, they want to fucking do all this extra jazz and whatnot, and make this country great again. What they should do is pay like a tax.
When was the last time the country was great?
Oh, when Donald Trump was president.
What about before that?
Nah, definitely wasn't.
It was never great.
Nah, not really.
But then what was he making great again?
He's making America great. He's making my paychecks look great. Lower taxes, whatnot. I love it.
But he said make America great again.
Mm-hmm.
So before Donald Trump, when was America great?
Probably wasn't great at all.
Well, then it wouldn't be make America great again. It would just be make America great for the first time.
I mean, America was great during, let's see here. America was great during the colonization period, slavery period, civil rights period. I guess when they went to war with Germany and shit, it was pretty great. Living in America. Manifest Destiny, yeah, there you go. The Trail of Tears was pretty damn great. Our entire nation's history was great. I mean, look at the rest of the world. The rest of the world wants to be us.
You know what Trail of Tears is?
This fucking country, have this country's history.
What were the positives of genocide?
Positives of a genocide?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I guess more land. More land.
Founding
we got 50 states now.
So
they got paid. They got the reparations. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I'm a black man. If I got reparations and shit, I'd be satisfied with it.
So a Democrat leads a bunch of Indians to their deaths and made America great.
I mean, the country's great. The country is great. This is the greatest country in the world.
You sound like a
country in the world.
Some sort of like somebody have a gun to you or something?
Nope.
Okay.
Why would someone have a gun to me?
It just sounds forced.
It sounds forced.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I believe this is the greatest country in the world.
Battle Kitty's not backstage.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, see, look at we caught him. Battle Kitty right there.
Jerk it off. Look at him.
Yeah, see, you like hot, red-handed.
He's like, oh,
I don't think we've had a good president in my lifetime.
No, you don't think Joe Biden's good?
No.
Oh, wonderful. I think we can agree there because I don't think he's good.
I don't think we've had a good president in my 30 some odd years of life.
You think AOC will be a good president?
No.
Why not?
Who do you think would be?
I don't. Probably somebody that we don't know. Probably somebody that we've never heard of. That's who would probably make a good president because I don't think that right now. So here's the things that let's say I'm
look like AOC.
Maybe I don't know. I don't have a problem with a female president. I think a lot of other countries have female presidents. They do just fine. In fact, many authority figures that we had as children were all female. So I don't think that we have a problem with female authority. It's just the right one. This is what I would do if I was president for a set period of time and I could do whatever I want. Number one, if you were a senator or House representative, whoever it may be, your pay is the median income of the area you represent plus a stipend for living in DC. Everybody gets the same stipend. So you get a median income of whatever it is that your county that you represent or jurisdiction represent. That's what you get. B. What's up, J Mike? B. You cannot serve more than 10 years. 10-year max. Also, if you're older than the retirement age, 65, then you can't run. You're too old. Those would be the first things I would do to encourage that. I don't like lifetime politicians. I don't like people that stay there forever. It's a service to the community. It's not a job. I think they should treat it as such.
Can I call the next president AOC?
Sure. I don't care what you call the next president.
Okay.
I don't know who the next president will be, but I did have a dream about Joe Biden.
DeSantis.
You think?
AOC.
No, it's not going to be AOC.
It's gonna be AOC.
Definitely not her.
No, it's not. She's only popular in. Where is she popular? She's only popular.
In my dreams.
I can see her being president like when she's fucking 50 and shit, you know.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't have a big problem with her. I don't think that I would make her president right now.
She's inexperienced.
Yeah, it takes time for that.
For her, it's just a couple years away. 35 in 2024.
Yeah, but that's the way. We don't need a 35-year-old president. I mean, 45, 55, I'd be okay with. I do think we need younger presidents. Joe Biden's fucking older than my grandfather was. No, that's a lie. My grandfather was like 94.
You think there would be an older president than Joe Biden?
I hope to God not.
Because he upped the ante 7 years to Trump.
He's pretty old, man. I had this dream the other night that he like passed out while giving a speech or something and hit the ground. So if it happens, I predicted it.
I can see that happen.
I just don't think that we have good representation, regardless of who it is. And the Democrat-Republican thing, it's teams that we don't need to be on. Like, we don't need to divide ourselves into teams. That's how they win. And I really hope that Trump decides to run in 2024 and that the GOP says, you're not running under our ticket, and he creates his own party and then splits it. Because we need 3 parties or 4 parties. It would be much better represented when you have a better chance between 2 assholes. Like, we're always picking between 2 crappy assholes. Like, let's get better candidates. Like, we can't do Biden.
Donald Trump is an asshole.
He's hard to work with, man. Like, he's just hard to work with. You can't get anything done because he's hard to work with. I don't. And they just like unnecessary attacks. It's great for TV, but it's not great for running a country. I think a lot of people have realized that now. I'm not so sure he would win again. I mean, come on. I mean, they gave us really crappy options. Like, they didn't already figure this out beforehand. So
you think he's going to run again?
I have no idea. I mean, that's the other thing. He's unpredictable, which makes it entertaining. But I do like coming home at night and turning on the news or whatever it is and not seeing fucking Donald Trump did this, Donald Trump did that, or a tweet from Donald Trump this. Like, I'm so happy that I don't have to hear about fucking Donald Trump.
That's not his fault,
I know it's not his fault. I'm just tired of hearing about it.
That's the media.
I'm aware. The media, but that's what I'm saying. He's good for media. He's entertaining.
He was the most popular president ever.
I would say popular in what way?
In every way.
Remember? He didn't.
He was
like talking about like votes or like how are you defining that?
Well, when you go,
what metric are you using to define popularity?
Like you said that nobody can out-troll you, but this guy trolled his way to the White House, and then in a COVID briefing told the world that he was #1 on Twitter.
Yeah, he's a very good troll. I agree.
Yeah, that's because we had the MAGA dude in here. He's not better troll than that. He could be, but he's not.
Could be. Here's the thing, though. When it comes to being a president, you need to be kind of serious about the job and not like if you were to make me president, that'd be a bad decision. That'd be bad. Like, you don't want me up there making sarcastic comments and fucking around. That's not a position to be fucking around in. So, if you're on a reality TV show, maybe cool, like you're fired and stuff like that. But
you don't think the president should be trolling
I don't think you should be fucking around. No, I think it's a serious.
You don't think you should be an actual person? Bring levity to anything? That's what I thought he was doing. Levity.
I don't think it was. What is?
I
how
mean,
would you find levity?
He was right. The media was going to take whatever he said and spin it in any way they wanted to.
Yeah, but they always do that. That's nothing new.
I want to know.
How's that his fault? Once again,
it's not his fault. It's just he's exploiting the system while you're president. We're talking about no,
the greatest president, the most popular president of all time.
But how are you what metric are you using for popularity?
Troll.
The actual votes that he got in the election.
Okay, but
Biden, I really don't believe that Joe Biden got 81 million votes. I just don't.
Okay.
How did he get more votes than Barack Obama?
Why do you think that he didn't get those many votes?
Oh, because they was cheating.
How do you know they were cheating?
They cheated with Hillary also.
How did they cheat?
Conversation is, I'm supporting Ray Bay.
The absentee ballots.
Okay, so how did
they
cheat
through them, Johns?
Sure.
I don't want you to be on.
So you one of those guys that don't believe Donald Trump laws. That does not. Do you not believe there's a possibility that this man lost because the Democrats cheated?
So if you would like to present what evidence you saw that determined for you that they were cheating.
Plenty of evidence. There was plenty of video footage. The woman with the dang suitcase pulled out from under the table while they was counting the votes after they done kicked out the GOP counters.
So I've seen a lot of these videos where people make those claims where like a box is moved from one part of the room to another and they're like, that's cheating. I just don't know how that.
Dead people voting and whatnot. You know, President Trump being up in one instance in a state, and then overnight, like magically delicious around 4 o'clock, Joe Biden just gets like a massive amount of votes out of nowhere.
So you haven't actually seen evidence that would support it. You just want to believe it because it fits the.
No, I don't want to believe it. I do believe it. I don't want to believe it. You know, I have free will. I believe that this is the case, that they cheated.
Because you saw a video of a woman with a suitcase.
Not even just that. It's just I was there watching election night happen.
On the media,
Donald Trump was leading in some various states.
Okay.
Including my home state of Pennsylvania, in which I voted for him.
Okay.
He was leading.
Okay.
By what? Like a million? Was it a million? It was a million. It was a million. And next thing you know, Joe Biden is fucking kicking his ass the next day, which is unreasonable for me.
What did you? So other than you just saying I don't believe that,
I don't.
What did you see? What did you hear? What evidence do you have that election was fraud in Pennsylvania because of overnight? Like what happened overnight that millions of votes came in?
There's testimony of dudes showing up in vans, carrying vans full of ballots and shit in the middle of the fucking night, bringing them in from New York into Pennsylvania.
Okay, so New York to Pennsylvania.
Why in the world are we delivering ballots on election night?
That would be weird. Where are these ballots? Where can I read about these ballots from New York coming in?
Oh, this news has been all over the place, Jeff. Where you been at? Under a rock?
Maybe I'm just trying to validate it.
Okay, so then why are you questioning and interrogating me about it?
Because I'm trying to get to where you're at. I'm trying to understand where you're from.
Don't believe.
Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to get the information.
That's because you, sir, you are one of those people that are a mindless, brainless fool.
Well, that's because I'm asking for evidence.
That's what you perceive me as. I mean, Twitter bumped this man off of the internet. For what reason? Why did Twitter ban Donald Trump?
Let's not get off these ballots. So you're claiming that
why did Twitter ban?
You're just trying to get away from the subject.
I'm not trying to get away from the subject because I'm going to round right back onto it. I'm going to circle right back to it like Jen Psaki.
I have no idea why Twitter banned Donald Trump.
You have no idea. Why do you not know?
Because I have
any evidence on 2024. No,
I don't know why Twitter decided to ban
QAnon.
Yeah. What I'm trying to figure out is how you determined that ballots came from New York to Pennsylvania to fraudulent in the election. Okay, wait.
There's the video. It was all over YouTube, dude.
What? That's not. So you're believing anything that's on YouTube? I'm assuming that you're a skeptic.
No, I'm not a skeptic. You're not a skeptic. I mean, yeah, I am a skeptic. I'm a skeptic that the Democrats actually won. I believe they cheated.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get to. I want to see this evidence. I want to see what you saw that determined for you that it was a fraud. I want to know, other than, so you're saying just because it was on YouTube and someone claimed that they took ballots from.
Well, it wasn't just on YouTube. It was all over, man. It was all over. They had hearings and shit. Did you not see the hearings?
So you're saying our legal system doesn't
in
work?
Michigan? You didn't see the hearings in Michigan?
I knew about the
No,
hearings.
the legal system definitely doesn't work because Derek Chauvin being fucking guilty of all 3 charges is a fucking fraud.
Sure.
Them jurors weren't sequestered properly.
But let's not get all. I want to know where we can get this data.
So yeah, like I said, the legal system is a joke.
So what you're saying is it's proven that these ballots were fraudulently brought from New York to Pennsylvania in your mind. And it went to the justice system and they said, no, that's not legitimate evidence. And they threw it away and they said this vote stands. That's what the claim is.
Yeah, that's fine. And I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with the results. But I am still of the belief that the Democrats cheated.
Sure, that's fine. But I want to get to that point. I want to see what you saw to see if I would have the same reaction. I believe
the evidence that Rudy Giuliani presented.
What evidence did Rudy Giuliani present?
A whole ton of it. Go look at his channel on YouTube.
Well, that's not giving me the evidence, though. Like, can you?
I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? Magic it for you?
No, I want you to provide it.
Look it up. Just like you were able to Google Frieza being non-binary on Wikipedia, you can Google Rudy Giuliani talking about the election fraud charges. Come on,
I can Google.
Really easy, Jeff.
I can Google Bigfoot.
Why are you making this so hard?
I'm not trying to make it easy. I can Google Bigfoot.
You're not making it easy. You're making it hard.
I don't think that the data
that doesn't make any sense. You were able to easily figure out that Frieza is non-binary. You can do that on your own.
Yes, but we didn't get
to go and look for the information that from Rudy Giuliani's mouth.
Did we figure out if Frieza was a
why is that hard for you?
Did we figure it out?
What? No, we all know. We all know Frieza's a man.
Well, yeah, but we had 2 different
sources. Father called him his son.
So
we don't call non-binary people being son or.
I'm trying to sort through the massive amount of data that's being out there. That's obviously some of it's fraudulent. You would agree that the mainstream media would have to have been hiding this data, making it difficult for me to find. So what I'm asking is, I want to see what you saw that convinced you so that I can read it and determine it for myself. That's it. And I've asked this type of question for many claims, whether it be a religious one or a political one. And it always seems that it comes down to look it up yourself, do your own research, things like that. And that's just avoiding giving me the data. I just don't know why you wouldn't just give me the sources that you had if it was so easy.
Oh, well, I was following it on YouTube, bro. Hearings and all that good shit. And
you can find anything on YouTube, though. You can find me.
Right, I can find UFO stories on YouTube. It doesn't make it real.
Yeah.
How did you determine it was true versus false? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Because it's just definitely true. Because the Democrats have been lying to black people all this time.
You're that you're not proving it. You're just saying they're lying. Okay, prove it.
Yeah, they are. They're lying. They're definitely lying.
Prove it.
Democrats have been lying and robbing black people since the beginning of the time, bro.
That's true.
So I wouldn't put it past them to cheat at an election.
Okay, prove it.
You mean prove it? You want me to prove it? Oh, yes. The case has happened. You want me to prove it?
I don't just.
Why do you want me to prove it?
Because I don't just accept what you say.
Oh, this is my belief. I believe it. I don't have to show you anything. Just like you don't have to show me how God doesn't exist or God does exist. You understand? You understand how that works? A claim is a claim. My claim is the Democrats cheated the election. They cheated President Donald J. Trump. Joe Biden is definitely not the most popular. Here's another proof. When you look at videos, for Joe Biden on the White House channel, they had to turn off their likes and dislike counter because this man had more dislikes than likes. Less views than President Donald J. Trump. This man gave his little State of the Union address or what have you to the Congress. 11.9 million views. President Donald J. Trump, his last address was 48 million. Why in the world do we live in a country where 81 million people voted for a man aren't willing to watch him on TV give an address to Congress?
They didn't vote. They didn't.
Why
vote
such a small fraction? Why such a small
vote.
fraction?
They didn't vote for Joe Biden. They voted against Donald Trump. That's the problem with the two-party system. Secondly, I never claimed that God doesn't exist, and I will be more than happy to back.
Hold on. They didn't vote. They voted for Joe Biden. Let's be real. Voting is voting, and it's an absolute thing. They voted for you guys. Voted for Joe Biden. I bet you voted for Biden, didn't you?
So if I gave you the choice,
you didn't vote against. You voted against Trump, and you voted for Biden.
Hey, I didn't. Hijacking the interview.
So
hijacking the interview. You're Magda nonsense again.
No, hold on.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
No. I like this. So if I'm going to give you a choice between two things, and you have to choose one. You ready?
Crackers.
Number one is a turd sandwich. Number two is a giant douche. Which one would you like to choose?
Giant douche.
Okay, cool. So you chose a giant douche.
Mm-hmm.
Can you defend why you chose a giant douche?
Because the turd sandwich stinks.
Cool.
Smells like shit.
That's basically the election in a analogy. One was a turd sandwich. The other one was a giant douche.
Right. Yeah, I know. That came from South Park and shit.
Yeah,
I remember that episode. Very good episode.
Very good. But I just don't. I'm trying to understand. And this is what the claim. People make all these claims. The world is flat. Jesus was this. This is this. But they're unwilling or unable to provide me sufficient evidence for their claim. And I would just hope that if you do make a claim that you
Rudy Giuliani clearly made look, Donald Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, clearly felt that there was fraud up in this joint. So much so that he had a press conference. I posted a link to the fucking video in the chat.
Sure.
So if you want to take a look at it, you're more than welcome to do so. Draw your own conclusions. You want to continue to be an ignorant fool, that is your business.
Well, I'm not being an
I am still going to stand at the belief that Donald J. Trump's presidency was robbed. Well, that is your business.
Great. I don't have a problem with that. I'm just trying to get to see that. I mean, I'm not being an ignorant fool. An ignorant fool would be someone that said to you, hey, Ray, you're wrong. And they did not cheat. And I know for a fact they did not cheat. And you just whatever. That's not what I'm saying.
But that's your tone. That is literally your tone.
No, I'm saying you might be right. Show me the evidence so I can get to.
But you didn't start off with that.
What did I start off with?
Show me the evidence.
Right. So show me the evidence. So
clearly, you are the party that's telling me that I'm wrong.
Wherever you go to validation, that's where they put the voting at. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Say that again.
Second is a good topic. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I want to talk to you. Like,
all right, yeah. I no longer want to hijack the show with this nonsense.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the battle.
If someone has like one person their whole life, if they want to have like one person whole life, or you want to have sex with more people in your life, but why we want? What's the benefit of having more sex with more people in your life besides being cool?
What?
Mm-hmm.
We're going back to sex topic. I'm trying to prove that I'm better. I'm gonna have like one woman my whole life. I'm gonna. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to do, and I'm saying like when people think like, oh, I feel bad for him because he only had one person sex. He also have sex with one person whole life. You heard that? You're gonna feel bad for them, but why you feel bad for them? If it's fulfilling, it's fulfilling. It's fulfilling here, but are you fulfilled having sex with more people?
Filled having sex with more people. I mean, I don't think I'm more fulfilled. I might learn something, and I think you can have multiple close relationships with multiple different people throughout your lifetime. I don't think that everybody has a soulmate, so to speak. So, yeah.
You extracted information out of that? What just happened?
I'm trying to answer it as best I can.
What I gleaned from it was that Matt was trying to say he's better than you, Jeff.
That's fine. He can be better than me. I don't care. I don't assign worth to myself from what other people think. If it helps him out.
Matt was like, I am superior.
That's fine.
It's weird, It's a weird thing that he does that.
The Matt thinks he's better than everyone. He's on another level. He is.
Mm-hmm.
It's demonstrably true. So as an atheist, you said that you don't assert that there is no God. You just believe that there's evidence for a God.
How would I know there is no God? Like, how would I possibly? I would have to have all knowledge to be able to say that there is no God. And I don't have all knowledge. The best I can say is I don't believe in a God. But I don't know that there is. I mean, there could be a God that created the universe and then dipped out. There could be a God that created the universe that's actively fucking with our lives. There could be a God that created the universe and doesn't even know about us, doesn't care about us. Those are all possibilities. I cannot rule out all infinite possibilities. So I can only say I don't know.
Do you have evidence that you don't believe in a God?
Yes.
What's that evidence?
Myself.
I'm sorry. Anecdotal evidence is not permissible.
Well, no, it's a lack of evidence would be a lack of belief.
He ripped the Bible.
I don't know how that works.
It's a lack of belief. So there would be a lack of evidence. So the fact that I don't have any evidence to support a belief in a God.
Do you have any peer-reviewed sources on this?
No.
He ripped the Bible.
So let me ask you this question. When you were born and you were 6 months old, did you believe in a God?
I don't know. I don't even remember when I was 6 months old.
Perfect. So you're an atheist. You had a lack of belief in a God. You had not formed a belief in a God yet. So therefore, you were an atheist.
I might be God. I don't know.
Maybe. You could be. My neighbor could be God. I don't know. But I can say with a reasonable amount of certainty that the Christian God is not true. I would say I'm 98% certain that the Christian God is not true.
What about the Muslim God?
I am 99% certain that the Islamic God is not true.
The Jewish?
99, we'll say.
Why are there like levels in percentage?
Let's see. Based on that percentage, who would win in a fight? The God of the Bible or the God of the Quran?
I don't know. Both of them are kind of assholes. I mean, they're both the same God, so I don't know. They both. I mean,
he just have like a schizophrenic mind battle in his head.
Yes, I don't. I mean, that's one of those like, can God create a stone too big for him to pick up? Kind of questions that it's an absurdity.
He got the 1% faith out of you over.
It's not 1% faith. So put it this way. Let's say someone calls you tonight, James, and says, "Hey, there's a bomb in your house, and it's going to blow up when you go to sleep." You're going to call the police or whatever. The bomb squad comes out. They do tests on your house, and they're going to try and look for a bomb. They have little detectors and whatnot. Eventually, at some point, they're going to leave your house, and they're going to say to you, "Hey, James, no, there's no bomb in your house," and they leave. Are they 100% certain there's no bomb in your house? Did they deconstruct the house to figure out if there's a bomb in there? Did they look for some sort of material which they haven't figured out yet that's a bomb? No. They had to reach a reasonable level of certainty that there is no bomb in your house. I have reached a reasonable level of certainty that the Christian God is not true.
How did you come to that conclusion?
Well, he said
by reading the Bible, by asking questions, by seeking sources, by looking for proof, by testing evidence.
Taylor, you read the Bible, don't you?
Well, yeah, I'm a Christian, so I'm supposed to read the Bible.
So you believe in God?
Yeah.
It's amazing how human beings are designed. One has read the Bible, doesn't believe in God. Another one has read the Bible, and believes in God.
I don't believe in that God.
Have you read another Bible?
I've read many Bibles.
And so those other Bibles have convinced you.
Which Bible do you prefer out of all the Bibles? The translation?
Oh, probably the NIV.
You think the NIV is better than the KJV?
KJV is annoying.
It's tangible. Like you just the language is kind of
It doesn't make sense that there's this all-knowing, all-loving deity that cannot give me his word in a fashion in which is not bastardized by the human inability to write it down. Like the fact that your God is limited by a certain translation is a problem for that God's existence.
It's not limited. It's just that the people that put the Bibles together, they have malintent. Well, the KJVs.
Then God was unable or unwilling to prevent that from happening.
No, he don't give a shit. We're not entitled to save salvation.
I'm not entitled to get the message, at least in a fashion in which I can understand. I mean, I think I'm entitled to that. The fact that the same thing with like when Muslims tell me, well, have you read the Quran? I say, yes. I don't think it's true. Well, have you read it in Arabic? Like I need to learn a fucking ancient language to be able to understand the word of this alleged almighty God. I mean, but no, the problem of evil is what convinced me that the God of the Bible is wrong.
Did you read the part of the Bible where it said God created both good and evil?
Yeah, it's in Isaiah.
Yeah, that's Isaiah.
I create darkness, I create light. I, the Lord, do all these things.
Did you read the part of Jeremiah where he said that he would return to the people the good he had promised, as opposed to the evil that he had done to them for their abomination?
That's fine. I mean, if I drown a baby and then bring it back to life, it doesn't negate the drowning of the baby.
So yeah, the God of the Bible says that he's the author of good and evil.
And he's kind of a dick. I just don't think that
He created everything.
Either he's unable or unwilling. So, I mean, are you familiar with the Epicurean paradox?
No.
So that's mainly, I think, the majority of what I would consider to be the problem of evil with that. So the evil it's sort of a pie chart. You can look it up. It's called the Epicurean paradox, and it will walk you through why I think the God of the Bible is non-existent and or doesn't make sense, among other things. But the problem of evil is probably the largest issue that would need to be resolved to bring me to the Christian faith.
You think that God can't be associated with evil, like a plausible God, not just a Christian God, but a plausible one wouldn't be associated with
he could be an evil. I mean, he could be the cause of all of our problems. But the Christian God, as defined, is three things: all-knowing, all-loving, and all-powerful. And the Christian God in the Bible is not all-loving, all-knowing, or all-powerful. So therefore, the Christian God does not exist.
Or the all-knowing, all-powerful is not compatible with the Bible God.
The Bible, then therefore, the Bible God does not exist. The Bible describes the God of the Bible as all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-loving. So if that's not the case and the Bible is wrong, then the God of the Bible is wrong.
Wouldn't you say the theologians that coined those three omnis?
No, the God of the Bible is responsible for the Bible. If he's not responsible for the Bible, then he's not all powerful or he's not all loving. It goes back to the same problems.
So
it could be a different God, but that's not the case. The Christian God does not exist.
You believe the theologians that assert these three omnis are in the Bible are right?
No, I think they're wrong. The message itself is flawed. So the book, this God, if he aims to form a relationship with me, has done a really shitty job of the message. Therefore, the Bible is incorrect and the God of the Bible is incorrect. If the theologians that wrote the Bible are wrong, then the God of the Bible is in fact wrong.
Well, I don't think the theologians wrote the Bible. I think it's just people that encountered or that wrote the Bible. But the theologians are the one that come along and study the Bible and go, Trinity, omniscience, omnipresence, right? They're the people that look at the Bible and interpret the Bible.
Sure. I think from my own reading of the Bible that I have determined that the God of the Bible describes himself as all-knowing, all-loving, and omnipotent. Now, I don't lean on saying a theologian decided that for me. I think it's from my own reading.
Are you familiar with the Song of the Vineyard in Isaiah, where he tells Israel that I've expected good grapes and I have found wild grapes?
No, I'm not familiar with that one.
That's Isaiah chapter 5. So he's telling Israel, like, I've planted my vineyard, I've given you the seed, and I've come from my good grapes, and I've found nothing but wild grapes.
So whose fault is that?
Well, it's his, obviously, because he's responsible for everything. But if he was omniscient, would he be expecting good grapes from Israel?
He should, I guess, know.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't mean he has to reveal that.
That's why I don't believe the God of the Bible is omniscient.
I mean, there's a lot of things that he was surprised about. I mean, the whole flood was a freaking waste of time.
Yeah, and that's another example when he noticed that mankind was wicked and it grieved him for even creating mankind.
Yeah, but also if Jesus was the eventual goal and Jesus was there the whole time and God had always known that he was going to send Jesus as the ultimate sacrifice for our sins, what was the point of the flood? The flood was unnecessary. He could have just sent Jesus. But I'll tell you,
why did he the flood?
The flood was the purpose of the flood was to kill giants, the Nephilim. That was the purpose of the flood.
I don't think the Bible said that. He just describes that there were great men around. Nephilim is the word that's used.
Well, you have to go to some extra biblical sources like the Book of Enoch.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the Book of Enoch.
Yes, so things like that.
Yeah, the Book of Enoch elaborates on what a Nephilim is, but I don't.
Giants.
It's not my interview. I'll call it an atheist troll over there. We'll talk about this, but so that's your position. Your position is you don't believe on the.
I believe the God of the Bible is not real. I believe the God of the Quran is not. I believe the God of any religion in which I've been made aware of is not real.
And that's so you're atheist based on.
Correct, based on the lack of belief in any God. So it's the default position. You know, if you don't have a belief in a God, then you're an atheist.
So do you believe agnostics are atheists that don't know they're atheists?
No, agnosticism would deal with knowledge. So I would consider myself an agnostic atheist. I don't believe in a God, and I don't know if one exists. But you could be someone who believes in a God but doesn't know if that God exists. That would be an agnostic theist. Or you could be somebody that says they believe in a God and they know that he exists. So therefore, you're a Gnostic theist. So there's two different questions. Do you believe in a God, atheist, or theist? Do you know a God exists? That would be a Gnostic or agnostic. So two different questions.
No, but the people going around saying, I'm agnostic, I'm not an atheist.
Sure.
Do you think that those people are really atheists that just
absolutely. I ask them the question, do you believe in a God or not? Yes or no. It's a yes or no question. It's a switch. Which way of that switch are you? And if they don't currently believe in a God, then they're atheist. If they don't know if there's a God, then you're agnostic. It's the same thing. It's two different questions. One is knowledge based and one is belief based. So people believe in gods and don't know. Like many Christians would say they don't know that Christianity is real. They just believe it. They don't know that Jesus was actually a God. They just believe it. So, you know, you could be an agnostic anti-theist. You could be a Gnostic anti-theist. You know, these are all options as I describe them, but I'm not a huge person on labels. And I think that's probably why most people choose the term agnostic, because you can't be an atheist in today's society. And you know, it's frowned upon.
Because we have a guy, he's the Chuck Norris of atheists. His name is Aaron Ra, and he's a god among men.
Yes.
And that's a famous quote from him where he said that, you know, these agnostics out here that are saying, I'm agnostic, I'm not an atheist, don't know they're atheists.
They're atheists, yeah, in most cases.
So do you agree with it?
I would. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say I called myself an agnostic before calling myself an atheist because I was ignorant to the terms. But anybody that educates themselves on those terms, it's pretty clear that you're an atheist. If you don't believe in a God, yes, no. You either do or you don't. And if you don't believe in a God, you're an atheist. That's it. It's not a bad word. Nothing to be afraid of. You just don't believe in a God. It's cool.
What do you think about the term new atheists?
What does that mean?
Well, that's what this new intellectual philosophical so-called movement of atheists is calling the atheists in the, you know,
sounds made up.
Sam Harris.
Oh, okay.
Aaron Ra, our guy.
Sure, whatever. I guess it's a new term they want to use. Whatever.
But you haven't heard that term? Nobody's called you on the internet new atheist or?
No, I haven't heard that yet.
Oh, the new atheist.
I don't know. I guess because I'm young.
It might be in Google.
I'm new to YouTube, so yes, I'm a new atheist.
So yeah, that's you hold that term as I'm just new to atheism, not like
I mean, I would only say I've called myself an atheist for the last 5 years, so it's not like I've been an atheist openly for a long time. So I guess I'm a new atheist because I'm new to it.
Do you believe in philosophical atheism?
What does that mean?
Well, it's what they're calling the other version of atheism in philosophy. There's the new atheist and the philosophical.
I don't know. I've never divulged into these conversations about these terms. So this is new to me. So I'm a new atheist in this.
Like Nietzsche and Bertrand Russell, or they're considered philosophical atheists. Like they're atheists that have come up with these philosophical arguments.
What just sounds like it sounds like they're atheists and they are just defining themselves by the way that they defend atheism. So if they're a philosophical atheist, I'm assuming that means that they're using philosophy to define or to defend their atheism.
So there's no different, like
there's still
no differing ideologies.
No, it's just if you don't believe in a God, that's it. There's nothing else extra into atheism. Just I don't believe in a God. Like that's it. You don't have to believe there is no God. You don't have to fucking believe in evolution. Like none of that is a requirement for calling yourself an atheist, in my opinion, based on the terminology. So atheism just means I don't believe in a God. That's it. Nothing else. It's simply a lack of belief in a deity.
Someone can believe the Bible is word for word true, and that the guys that wrote it embellished the God into it, but it's really describing like human history, and still be an atheist.
Yeah, you could if you don't believe that there's a deity.
Yeah, they just think that part's embellished, but they think everything else in the Bible is true.
I mean,
they think the people are really like how things are happening in certain ways, but they're just.
You can believe Jesus is a real man, and you know, I subscribe to somewhat of mythicism at this point, so I don't think that Jesus as a person actually existed. But you could believe that Jesus existed and still be an atheist.
Oh, so you're a Jesus mythicist?
I don't believe that Jesus as a historical figure existed. No.
All right. And what did you have arguments for this?
Sure. Yeah. So we don't have. I'm not saying that Jesus did. I'm not saying that definitely Jesus didn't exist. So don't get me wrong here. So there's no way, obviously, that we could know 100% that this person did or did not exist. It's history. It doesn't work the same way as science. However, it seems to me, based on the study into this and listening to different people talk about early Christianity and the way that things were formed and looking for the documentation and things like that, that there may have been multiple figures that were attributed to a singular Jesus. But this is what we'd have to agree upon, that Jesus did exist, was crucified under Pontius Pilate, was flipping tables in the temple over that, had claimed, was sort of Judas, a Judas character kind of pinpointed him, and pointed him out. Those are the things for historical Jesus. So there's no evidence to support this event of the flipping of tables. There's no evidence to support this Pontius Pilate condemning someone to be crucified. There's no evidence of a teacher at that time saying the things that he said. So either the Jesus character that eventually got into the Bible is not that man, but a different one, or someone else, or there are multiple different prophets at that time that are all being kind of like, oh yeah, that's the guy, that's this, that's also Jesus, and all of that story, that's also Jesus. And it's just being combined into one story. I would expect to see, if these events happened, not necessarily more documentation, but something of significant evidence. We don't have any significant evidence in the first 100 years after Jesus's alleged death. There's nothing. There's not an inscription. No one carved it into a wall. Nobody carved a statue. Nobody wrote about it that we found in the first 100 years of Christianity. And I just find that very odd that this guy was, causing all these problems. And we know about other problems that were caused. We know about riots that happened because some dude, a Roman soldier, decided to lift up his skirt over the temple and show his ass to the prayer group. And then there was a riot. We know about that. We know about all these other events, just that the Romans were very good at notating things at that time. And we don't have any mention whatsoever of this character in any way until 100 years after. So I just find it very, it's too suspect for me.
So are you more like, are you familiar with Dr. Bob Price?
No.
Are you familiar with Richard Carrier?
Yes.
So you say, have you into his work on mythicism? And
I am actually, I do not, and I intentionally am not reading any Richard Carrier or watching any of his debates because I do not want to form my opinion around what he's figured out. I want to figure it out for myself.
well,
I don't want to follow in his footsteps and believe what he believes because he believes what he believes. I want to find that evidence for myself. I want to determine it myself. And so I can't do that if I'm watching his debates.
I'm familiar with both. Bob Price is a Dr. Price is a, he believes the account of Jesus is an interpolation of other accounts, right? Which is consistent with other religious mythology. Like we got Zeus, he's an interpolation from the Minoan religion. Sure. He's older than his story by thousands.
That makes more sense, and it's supported by the evidence better.
Well, yeah, that's archaeologically sound because that happens in other religions. Like it can be explained that. I don't think there's evidence, but that's a better argument. Where Carrier's just asserting that it's pseudo history, and he's the lone wolf in that department.
Sure.
Where Price is too, but Price is actually not a lone wolf if you go into the vast scope.
What happens? I mean, look what happens to people that say they don't believe. I mean, I simply say I don't believe that Jesus existed. That's it. I'm not saying that he didn't exist. I say I don't believe he existed, and people are jumping down my throat. How dare you? How can you not? Even atheists agree that he existed. So could you imagine being somebody 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, saying, hey, I don't believe that Jesus existed? They'd fucking kill you 1,000 years ago, for that kind of shit. So no wonder people are afraid to say it. No, it's not accepted. You're not allowed to say that kind of stuff. And I'm sorry, but the evidence for a historical Jesus is too slim. It's too minimal for me to take that. It's not enough. And it's not that I like it's, and then the next thing they're going to say is like, well, Alexander the Great, how do you know that he existed? Like, we have lots of evidence for that, even though it's secondhand, but you have, if Jesus had done those things, Galilee being and Jerusalem and all these areas being trade centric, meaning people are coming in and out in trade, we would see these stories spreading via these trade routes into Asia, into other places, and it didn't happen. So either these events didn't happen and he wasn't there, or we haven't found that evidence yet. And I'm at current presenting evidence, I can't accept it. It's not enough.
So a myth is based on.
Yeah, I don't believe, just like how I don't believe in a God, I don't believe that Jesus existed. I can't say that Jesus, like I might say Jesus doesn't exist in a video to get people riled up, but I don't know that Jesus didn't exist. How would you know that? You couldn't say for certain 100% Jesus didn't exist. How would I know? But there's not enough evidence to support his existence. So that puts us at
Bart Ehrman.
Oh yeah, I love Bart. I read all his books.
Do you think he has a fair, bias? Do you think he's fair with the mythicist?
I think if you read, like, go to his blog, you got to pay for it. But if you start reading his blog, he's much more free with his thoughts there. And I think it would be maybe public suicide for him to come out and say, I believe that Jesus is a myth. Considering the social circles that he works in, the schoolery groups he works in, there may be other factors for him to say that. And I don't think that he can. There's not enough evidence to come out and say Jesus didn't exist. But what he does say is that there's very little evidence to support Jesus. He says exactly that in the first 100 years, the first Christian century, there is not one mention of Jesus. Nothing. Nada. There's nothing. So if this person existed within the first 100 years of Christianity, you would expect to find something. And what he's saying is, from a historical standpoint, the way that we historically define whether or not people existed or not, there's a lower standard for that because it's difficult, with historical references and what we can get to be able to prove that someone existed. So for him, he's seen enough to support, at least publicly, that Jesus did exist. A character existed that eventually led to the stories in the Bible. I don't think that's true. I don't think that those events actually happened. Now, there may have been a preacher at some point that inspired people that eventually came, and people are saying, well, that was Jesus, later on, but that's not the biblical Jesus. Like, the biblical Jesus would have been doing things that were described in the Bible.
So you are familiar, like, this is interesting. You are familiar with Bart Ehrman.
Yeah, I read all his books. I've read every book that Bart Ehrman has published.
But you're not familiar, like, with Dr. Price?
No,
like
but I've only been actually reading and studying about biblical stuff for the last 4 years. So, it's not like I've had or 5 years. So I've not had this mass amount of time. And Bart Ehrman's got a lot of books.
Yeah, he did.
So, but I have a shelf full of Bart Ehrman books. So I do like my Bart Ehrman.
But he hasn't convinced you of historicity.
No.
You should check out Dr. Bob Price, because he's been in the game for a while, and he's actually an intellectual rival to Bart Ehrman in academia. He's not just somebody that doesn't like Jesus or something like
Sure.
that. He's an actual doctor with a degree. And he's
Dr. Bart Ehrman.
Yeah, Bart Ehrman
agrees. I mean, Bart Ehrman agrees in a historical Jesus publicly. So, I don't take Bart Ehrman's word for everything. I think that would be a fallacy, in my opinion, to just take an authoritative look. Now, he's obviously very well studied in those areas, so he has more weight with what he says. But to just blindly accept everything someone says because they have authority would be a fallacy. It wouldn't work. So, and Christians do this because they'll come at me and say, well, Bart Ehrman said that Jesus actually existed. Even atheists, Bart Ehrman said he exists. And I say to them, is Bart Ehrman right about everything? Because if he is right about everything, then you could use him for evidence for atheism, because he's an atheist. So is he right about everything or not? And they'll say, no, he's not right about everything. Like, cool. So now we have to determine what he's saying, if it's right or wrong. We have to determine that for ourselves. So I can't just take blindly that he said Jesus existed and say, cool. I've read his books. I see his evidence. I see other people's evidence when it comes to Jesus existing. I am learning the historical process. I've talked with other historians, people that teach history, understanding how that works. And to this moment, right now, today, I'm still at the point where I don't believe Jesus existed. I haven't seen sufficient evidence for the claim.
You familiar with textual criticism?
Yes.
All right. So,
I mean, a lot of Ehrman is textual criticism.
Yeah, that's how we get our modern Bible translations and stuff like that. Yes. But at the top of that ladder, like the most scholarly, like the key holder to that whole textual criticism is Bart Ehrman. He studied under Bruce Metzger. He's the most well-studied, the most invested into it. So he stands at the very top, and he's an atheist. Mm-hmm. So do you think that he's, right, as an atheist, but being like pressure from mostly theists, right, he's maintaining this view that Jesus existed?
I'm not saying that I know that for a fact, but I think it would be very difficult for him if he were to say Jesus didn't exist. I think that would have some negative effects on his career.
But even like I'm not tooting the guy's horn as the most powerful, but like legitimately and intellectually, he is the most powerful.
Yes.
He studied under Metzger, and that was the father of textual criticism.
Yes.
He's alive today. Metzger is not, and he's the most. Like, he's got the most accolades to textual criticism.
Yeah,
he knows everything about it, A to Z. Went to Princeton, legitimate school, everything.
Yeah.
So
I think he's very well educated.
And that's my point. Like, the only people that go up against him are evangelicals that can't, they're stupid. So you see, like, when a textual critic comes to debate Bart Ehrman, it's somebody way lower on the totem pole.
Oh, I'm sure. And I'm sure if I debated Bart Ehrman on this topic, I'd probably get railed. But I just haven't. I'm just being honest with myself. I'm being honest with other people that ask me. I personally have not seen evidence enough to support the Jesus claim. That can change. Someone could present me evidence tomorrow. It may change my opinion. May happen. I just haven't been given that evidence yet.
You think it would be more likely Bart Ehrman?
Oh, fuck. I would hope so, if anybody. But I do read his blogs. I read his books. So, it's not like I'm turning a blind eye to his information. But I don't think that the man is infallible. And I don't think that he's really said, he avoids really saying a whole lot on that subject matter. I mean, other than the book he wrote, but, did Jesus exist? It's a good book.
Yeah. And misquoting Jesus. And
misquoting Jesus is probably my favorite.
Yeah, practically all of
That's
his work.
the first one I read. But
he's saying there's a real Jesus, and this is what the real Jesus said. And this is right. We got a consensus on this.
Yeah.
We can see.
But
I
think you could do the same thing with Harry Potter. I think you could, these are characters in a book. So we could decipher the deeper meanings of Harry Potter if we really wanted to, and, use textual criticism to understand the characters better. It doesn't mean that the characters are real.
So Bart Ehrman, yeah, I think you said that he's under pressure.
I'm not saying he's under pressure. I'm just saying that could be a possibility. I think it would be difficult in his line of work to come out and say that Jesus didn't exist. That would not be a good look. And how would he know that, for 100% that Jesus didn't exist? What he does say is that the evidence for a historical Jesus is very slim.
What's this next one? God made me look like Chris Tell. What's this?
Chris Kattan. I don't know who that is.
I don't either.
He's from Saturday Night Live. One of the Butabi brothers.
What are you talking about?
I don't think
Chris Kattan.
I don't watch that show. Who watches that? Do you watch that?
I don't know.
I don't watch it.
One of us,
shows shit.
I don't know what one of us looks like.
Shit,
I don't watch that either.
But I will need to wrap here probably in the next 10 minutes, guys. I don't want to be a party pooper. But
are you out?
Well, just
ready to end?
Yeah. I mean, just whenever you want to wrap. I don't want to make it a hard.
Yeah, I'm about to have dinner.
Yeah. But
what's the battle kitty doing?
I don't want to know.
Yeah, when's your show?
What? Hey Jeff, when's your show?
Yeah, when do you live?
Oh, I do my show Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we do that on the Tang channel, the Atheist Network group. You can find us there, and it's called the Atheist Troll Live. So you can find it there. You can find my merch at my link tree, or just go to Google and type in Atheist Troll merch. I am at the top of the Googles now. So you can get your Happy Atheist shirt, or one of the ones with kids being thrown on rocks.
Yeah, one of the Bible ones.
Yeah, the Bible ones are fantastic. I think those are my favorites.
That's my favorite book. So you said 9 p.m. Eastern?
9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
I'll call in eventually and talk to you about the Bible. What's on my show? We can talk on your show.
Yeah, for sure.
And the Battle Kitty.
Is that a container of milk?
He has to drink a lot because he takes
What is that, Matt? What are you drinking?
Nothing. I was checking to see the water. I need to get my water, but I'll hold on a second because I'm on the thing right now. I got some very good things I said in the chat. We're talking about religion now.
The shit nobody was paying attention to.
It's a pietistic reality because what God is, like you think God is a person, like you learned it from The Simpsons. You can't learn God from The Simpsons. God never talks. If you're God telling God from The Simpsons, you learned it from The Simpsons. And this is what I think God is. God like a web of interconnectivity. Like I believe in a psychic reality, but it's like being psychic is like the sound of the pillow. The sound that the pillow makes when the TV is on. The TV's on. I'm just imagining the sound. The sound of the pillow, but there's a TV.
He tried to escape. See him escaping.
But the pillow makes sound. But what rings the pillow? It rings like a bell inside the pillow. Like, reality rings like a bell. Like the pillow is it's still a pillow.
And he tried to hop back on. He's like, I got caught.
The sound of a pillow ringing. The sound of a pillow ringing is a psychic reality. And you can feel the pillow more often, like just perception, like where you perceive, you can feel that, but the psychic reality is like the ringing of the pillow. I don't hear it. It rings, but it like rings from like not like the sound like a ringing from the sound. You have to if you check. I don't know how much it is, but I know it's the sound of the pillow. Okay. But what we say God is what rings the bell? Like when does the bell ring? The thing that causes
That's literally what my eyes be doing the whole entire time under these glasses.
There's interconnectivity.
This shit.
Like the reason why.
What is wrong with this ball?
Ring,
Matt.
when it rings,
Battle Kitty. Battle Kitty.
God is not
Yo, your pillow don't fucking ring. It don't ring. Stop trying to make your pillow ring. Stop trying to make it a thing, please.
It's like anything psychic is comparable to the ringing of a pillow while TV is on. The TV's on, but it doesn't just ring. It's the sound of the pillow.
Facts.